Hey, thank you for joining Buzzworthy Businesses. My name is Daniel Gilham with Farther. Super excited to be sitting down today with Matthew Dougherty, a University of North Florida financial planning and finance student, and also my business partner, Nelson Bradshaw with Farther. So, gentlemen, great to be here today. Matthew, we go back a little ways through some interning with Farther. It was a great experience for us. I hope it was a great experience for you as well.
Definitely was.
And I was, it's very interesting as I think about the financial planning industry, which you're moving into now as you graduate. Mm-hmm. And when we look at the landscape of the industry, like there's this huge generational shift of wealth. But there's also an underpinning issue within the industry. The average age of a financial advisor is nearing 60. The success rate of new advisors coming in is very low. Research shows it's around 3%. So you have this huge generational transition of wealth, 38% of financial advisors that are retiring over that same 10-year period, and a very low success rate of new advisors coming in. I'd love to get your thoughts and perspective on new students that are graduating and coming into the industry. What are students looking at when they think about financial planning? How can programs like the University of North Florida attract more students into those programs? And then what does that transition look like for you?
Yeah. So I'll start off with just the reason why I decided to go into financial planning. So when I was in high school, I became very interested in psychology just because I always found it fascinating to see why do people think the way they think, why do they make the decisions that they do. And then I took a personal finance class my junior year of high school and became very interested in that because it wasn't something that I was taught a lot before that point. And so I found that financial planning really blends those two fields together, psychology as well as personal finance. And so that's why I decided to go into it. Now, of course, there is a real need for financial planners and we need more people to enter the industry. So what I would say is it's really a great thing to study because, you can go to a university and you can study finance or you can study another business discipline and that's great. But the thing I love about studying financial planning is you're also learning things that are very applicable for your own life. And so since we're not taught about insurance planning, estate planning, investments, retirement growing up, it's a great opportunity to learn how to manage your finances as well as how to help other people when you enter that career. Yeah. And yes, obviously, the average age of a financial advisor is around 60. So there's definitely a real need for younger people to enter the industry, which makes it very attractive because there's lots of job opportunities. There's, lots of employers like Farther looking to hire students and you really have great opportunities coming out of school and it's a great career field.
Yeah. So how is University of North Florida, how are they attracting students into the personal financial planning program? And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so for students who don't know that they want to study financial planning starting off, they usually discover it through taking the financial planning as an elective, taking that course. And then they discover, hey, this is something that, I think could be interesting. So, the financial planning courses are maybe a little less quantitative than some of the other finance courses. So what students are finding is, hey, if you like people, if you're an extrovert, if you have a desire to help people achieve their goals, then financial planning could be a great career for you. It's no longer just about the investments and the asset allocation, but it's really a relationship business. So I think if more students, could see that early on that, hey, if I like to help people, if I like building relationships, then you would probably really enjoy a career in financial planning. And at UNF, they're definitely doing great work, just continuing to attract students. We've been getting a lot more national attention over the last couple years.
You just recently won or placed pretty high in a financial planning competition, right? A national competition?
Yeah. So we, late September, we actually traveled to Phoenix, Arizona to compete against other schools in the Financial Planning Challenge. And we finished 6th in the country out of about 80 to 100 teams this year. So that was really good for the program.
That's great. So Nelson, Yeah, I mean, you ran a large bank, which included the wealth management division. When you're looking at hiring individuals that are coming out of school, what are you looking for, or did you look for,
Right.
in bringing people like Matthew on board?
Right. Well, the challenge is, in the wealth area more so than the commercial or some of the other areas, is that you got to understand that technical side, and the technical side's a lot easier to get through school. But to be successful, you got to have the emotional IQ to how to read folks, how to engage. And it's not just a gift of gab. You got to have a way to interact with them because generally you're dealing, folks that have money tend to be older. So you're having to deal with an older generation. And so I'd be interested, Matthew, what are you learning at UNF or even outside? What are you doing to sort of help prepare yourself for that side of what you're going to need to be successful?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, with the more technical stuff, the knowledge, all of that can be learned. It can be taught and it can be learned by students. So I think what really can't be taught is, having a conversation with people, the emotional intelligence that you're talking about. And so how we develop that some at UNF is through doing role plays, talking to another student, pretending like, they're the client, you're the advisor, going through some of those role plays, as well as, presenting to professors as if you're presenting a financial plan to a client. So those are just some of the ways that we're helping to build those soft skills as we learn the technical aspects. And then I always encourage students to look for internships because that's a way that you can really immerse yourself in the business and, see what it's really like for advisors to talk to clients. What are the questions being asked? What are the conversations being had? So I think it's a mix of, learning the technical skills that you need, as well as, just becoming familiar with some of the technology, some of the other things you're going to use in your role, and then just trying to gain experience through internships and being involved with clubs like the Financial Planning Association.
Well, certainly, as you talk about, one of the things that we tried to do with your internship, it'd be easy to just stick you to the side and have you do nothing but build financial plans. But we actually have some events that we do with our clients and prospects. We had one out at a golf course where we did some pretty unique things there and had you along to sort of show that side. How do you interact with others and not come out of the gate talking business. You got to sort of build that rapport and transition.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Matthew, you talked about learning the technology piece, and as we look at this generational transition of wealth, and as younger individuals are inheriting that wealth, and new advisors are coming up out of school, this generational transition is looking for a modern wealth experience, and that's what we've done at Farther, right? Is pairing that emotional intelligence that we need to communicate complex information and plans to clients, but we also want to use technology to create efficiencies, both for us as advisors, but also for the clients. Can you talk a little bit about what UNF or what financial planning programs that you're involved in today are doing from a technology perspective to prepare you to serve clients well in the future?
Yeah. So in some of our classes, we have access to different financial planning software, and becoming familiar with using that software for hypothetical clients helps you be ready when you enter the business, and then you have to use that in real life. So definitely, there's much more stuff that, we're doing at UNF, but that's one of the main things we're doing, just becoming familiar with some of the different software and technology that we'll be using.
That's great. Well, I know your future is extremely bright, and we wish you the best in your career and hope that we have the opportunity to work together again.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for joining us here at Buzzworthy Businesses. Again, my name is Daniel Gilham over at Farther. You can learn more about Farther at farther.com. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you next time.